So we're gonna do a little tour, the first tour of our garden that I'm gonna upload onto YouTube. And the highlights of the garden are gonna be the fruit trees, primarily the avocado trees. This is my lamb house, and I've pruned it back a couple times so that it can get really strong at the trunk. But I might need to shape it a little bit better. I'm not sure yet. But since the last pruning, it's really brought on a lot of good new growth, and it looks really healthy. I put a layer of gypsum on the top of the mulch and watered it in over the course of the last few months. And so since then, it's done really well. And I've added a lot of good compost tea over the last couple months going into autumn here. Get it ready for the winter. This is a lamb house, I think. I can't remember if I said that. And that is a 6-year-old lamb house. The reason why it's so small is because I had it in pot for many years, and then I just put it in ground last year. And so it took off quite a bit, but then I cut it back because I felt that I needed to help it focus on root strength and trunk strength. So I just wanted to give it a chance to be strong. And well, hello there. Hi. One of the hummingbirds that frequents the yard. Okay, next up is the fig. This is a Peter's honey fig, and that was in a smaller pot for a while, and I transplanted it into this larger pot. I see you. Oh my God, he went right behind my head. Just, oh, they flirt, and it's just, sometimes it just tickles. Anyway, this tree is, gosh, it's probably about a 3-year-old fig. The trunk caliper is getting a little bit thicker. It's about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter now. I didn't mention how thick the lamb was. The lamb, that's a good 2 inches thick on the caliper. So only a few figs this season. They really didn't get to be very juicy. There was some dryness inside the figs, and so I think it just needs a year or two more to really mature and get better fruit. I'm not sure. I mean, I've heard good things about the Peter's honey fig, and so I hunted that fig for many years and finally found it, and so I was really excited to have it in the garden, but haven't really been able to taste its deliciousness yet. Female, male fuzzy kiwi, Hayward, and they're just, I've been training them to kind of come up and join together, and they're just starting to touch. They'll take several years to develop fruit, so I'll just have to develop and maintain a lot of patience for them. By the way, the orientation of the house, this is north, west, south, and east. So the direction we're going is southeast here. And on the left side of the ADU, which is kind of a southwest orientation, it's facing the sun. The sun rises here and then sets over there in the summertime. More in the wintertime, it sets a little bit closer that way. But during the summer, these two fruit trees, the lamb hass, and this is the nectarines nectarine. Those two fruit trees, they get tons of sun during the summer. Yeah, so I brought this up. I might as well talk about it. This is the nectarine, and I've had it in ground for 2 years. And so that makes me wonder, did I put this in ground 2 years ago? I cannot remember. It was either last year or the year before. But I think it was 2 years ago. So I stand corrected. This as well, 2 years ago. Yeah, so that would be fall of 22. I think I put those two guys in. And this guy's looking really healthy. He put out a lot of nectarines, and they were the best nectarines I've had in decades. Like since the time when I was a kid going to the beach in Laguna, and ran down the beach with a plum and a nectarine in hand and plopped myself on the warm sand and proceeded to eat those fruit with joy. They were so good. All right, so this guy here is the Fuji apple espalier. It put out 3 apples. They were delicious, and I am excited to have more and more as the years progress. Seems like it's growing well. Next up is, this will be the bear slime. I'm training this guy to grow on the right side of the pergola, or the arbor rather. And I just want it to be top heavy going on the top side of that arbor. And I think that would be so nice to have it fruit laden, looking through the arbor, through the garden. That would be just really cool. These guys are, this is a really good producer, and the fruit is really, really yummy. I'm happy with this guy. Though he is getting a little I think that's chlorotic. Not quite sure, but he's due for, I probably should have fed him. Well, maybe I'll feed him tomorrow, and then I'll not feed him all through winter, but I'm not sure if it's too late to feed him. Not sure what that is. Huh. Yeah. Otherwise, it's pretty healthy. Lots of new growth, lots of new branches. And I did paint the trunk, so that's some of the white that you see, to protect it from the heavy sun that we get here in Upper Napa Valley, Zone 9B. This right here is a Washington navel, and he was really not doing too hot when I first planted him. Looked really nutritionally deficient, just really wimpy at the beginning. So I just kind of supported him as best I could to get him going, and then also heavily pruned so that he could just focus his growth on, there were some other, it was supposed to be an espalier, and I decided to just plant it in ground to be a regular standard tree. And so I pruned a few of the espalier branches off so that it'll just have 2 central leaders. I probably should have only 1, but I think this should be fine. It looks a little funky though, huh? We'll see. We'll see. I might trim. I might take either that one off, or the right or the left one off down the road. I'm not sure. But I'm just going to give him some time to do his thing. Coming up here on the right, I've got a pomegranate, wonderful, and I pruned all of the other branches off and just left 1 central leader. And he's growing really well. We'll see how he does next summer. And we've got a Feijoa guava, pineapple guava. He's doing really well. He had a lot of central leaders too, and I trimmed it down, reduced it to 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm happy with that, but you never know, I may reduce it even more down the road. Let's see, what's next? We'll go back over here and we'll do the avocados. So basically from here on in, on the southeast side of my yard, this is where the sun rises, goes up, and then sets over here. Right now it's about 5 p.m. so it's already kind of set. We're in dusk mode, so I hope the light is okay and that you guys can see pretty well still. So we've got the 2 avocados that I put in last March. Gary Gragg came and he installed these, and they were 24-inch box trees, and we put them in, you can't really tell, but it looks more like a 5-foot square, but it's really inside. We have another wall, an interior wall in here, so that there's some air, an air gap in between there for insulation. So it's really a 4-foot by 4-foot square box. And so these are raised boxes that the roots can go down into the ground, into the soil though. But there is some gopher wire that protects the roots at the very bottom. And they're doing really well. They're really happy. So this guy is Mexicola, and this guy is a bacon. So the Mexicola is growing in more like a Christmas tree fashion. His growth has really focused on the left side though. He's growing towards the southwest a lot more. You can see how he's more heavily growing on the left, which is the southwest, than the northeast on this side. Because of that, I put a couple grafts up there. One is from a tree in Sebastopol that I took cutting from and learned that that's also a Mexicola, so it's a Mexicola onto a Mexicola. And this one is a lamb cutting, lamb has. And then I've got another scion in here that seems to be taking, and that is a reed. So yeah, that's the reed. And this is the lamb. Okay. Did those September 24th. And so hopefully those will continue to keep taking and grow some healthy leaf structure. On the bacon, I've grafted a lot on here. The latest one that I've done, that is a lamb house, and I've done a bunch of other lamb houses, but that was in September. That's the stick is still green, so it's still healthy. It just hasn't shown any leaf buds coming out yet. This was the first one I did. This is a lamb house as well. And I did that in April 1st of 2024. This is my April Fool's graft. He's happy. He's really happy. Hopefully he'll put out some fruit next year. I think that would be great. I'd love to see that. Some other grafts that took were, I put up another video on the Santa Rosa second red avocado tree, the famous second red tree that Marta Marvienko talks about. Here's one graft that has taken really well. And I've got another one right there. And where's my other one? Right here. This guy. There we go. Yep, he's doing really well. Those were unsuccessful grafts of lamb. Those guys just didn't do. I had some tin foil over those guys protecting them, and then when I learned they weren't gonna survive, I just let them go. I think they're goners. But that one looks like he might make it. I'm not sure. We'll see. Jury's out. Okay. So that's my Franken bacon. And he's really healthy. He's grown quite a bit taller than the Mexicola. And I've actually I've topped him off. Taken at least 2 of the leaders on the top, just to kind of help it stay a little bit lower. I can tell I'm going to have to stay on top of this guy. He's going to be wanting to grow and grow. All right, so the recent additions. Let me split this video up, and I'll do part 2. This will be part 1. We'll do part 2.